It's kind of funny. The single most important system for your comfort at home is probably the one you think about the least. That is, until it breaks. So today, we're going to give you the owner's manual you probably never got for your home's HVAC system. Oh, we've all been there, right? It is the coldest night of the year, and poof, the furnace just goes silent. Or it's a blistering summer heat wave, and your AC decides to pump out warm air. It's not just frustrating, it's a full-blown crisis. But here's the thing. What if these failures aren't just random bad luck? Actually, the truth is, these breakdowns are almost never sudden. They're usually the final result of a long, silent battle, a fight your system has been waging against an enemy it has to face down every single day. And what is that enemy? Well, believe it or not, the biggest threat to your home's comfort system is the very thing it's supposed to protect you from: the weather. Yep, it's a relentless opponent that never, ever takes a day off. I mean, just think about the gauntlet your system has to run. We're talking brutal summers, deep into the 90s with that sticky, heavy humidity. Then bam, freezing winter temps and ice storms. And what about those crazy spring and fall days where the temperature swings 30 degrees in a single afternoon? Your system is constantly being forced to switch back and forth from heating to cooling. And all that moisture in the air, it's just causing corrosion over time. This isn't just regular use, it's practically abuse. And it just speeds up the wear and tear on every single part. So how can you tell when your system is starting to lose that fight? Well, the cool thing is it actually sends out distress signals, little clues long before it totally gives up. Let's talk about how you can become a kind of symptom detective for your own home. Okay, so let's break down these clues. You hear any grinding or squealing? That's a huge red flag for immediate mechanical problems. What about weird smells, like musty or burning odors? That could be anything from mold to really dangerous electrical issues. Notice your energy bills are suddenly sky high? That's your system basically screaming at you that it's working way too hard and losing efficiency. And if it's turning on and off all the time, or you've got rooms that are freezing while others are boiling, you're probably looking at an airflow or ductwork problem. The main takeaway here is this: these are not minor annoyances. They are critical warning signs you really shouldn't ignore. And ignoring those signals, well, it usually leads to the big, dreaded question every homeowner faces eventually. Do I sink more money into repairing this thing, or is it just time to bite the bullet and replace it? It's a huge financial decision for sure, but there's a really simple rule that can help bring a ton of clarity. It's called the $5,000 rule, and it's just a super straightforward guideline to help you figure out if a repair is a good investment or if you're basically just throwing good money after bad on a system that's on its last legs. Okay, so here's how you use it. It's really simple. First, you get the estimated cost of the repair. Second, you figure out how old your system is in years. Then you just multiply those two numbers, the repair cost times the system's age. If that final number you get is over 5,000, then replacement is probably the smarter financial choice. Let's run through a couple of quick examples so you can see it in action. Okay, scenario one, you have a $400 repair bill for a system that's 10 years old. So you take 400 and multiply it by 10. That gives you $4,000. Since that's under the $5,000 mark, a repair probably makes good financial sense. But now let's switch it up. What if you have a $600 repair on a unit that's only 9 years old? Well, 600 times 9 is $5,400. And because that's over $5,000, this rule suggests you should seriously start thinking about a replacement, even though the system's a little bit younger. So, whether you decide to repair or replace, you're going to need to call in a professional, right? But what does a really good service experience even look like? Let's break down what separates a true pro from, well, everyone else. A real professional is going to follow a clear 3-step process. First, they'll do a fast but really thorough diagnosis to find the root cause of the problem, not just slap a Band-Aid on a symptom. Second, once you give them the okay on the estimate, they'll do an expert repair using high-quality parts. And third, and this part is absolutely critical, they will test the entire system by running it through a full cycle. They need to make sure the fix actually, worked and didn't accidentally cause a whole new problem somewhere else. And hey, here's a handy checklist you can use to vet anyone you're thinking of hiring. Ask these questions. Are your technicians NATE certified? Will you give me an upfront written estimate? Do you perform safety inspections, especially for things like carbon monoxide? If I'm getting a new system, are you using a manual J calculation to make sure it's sized correctly for my house? Are you EPA certified for handling refrigerant? And finally, do you offer a warranty on both your parts and your labor? Honestly, if you get a no to any of these, that's a big red flag. It's probably a sign to keep looking. When it all comes down to it, quality service really is about one thing: getting an accurate diagnosis and a repair that's actually going to last. It's the difference between a real, long-term solution and a temporary patch that's just going to fail on you again in a few months. So your HVAC system is out there working hard, fighting the weather for you day in and day out. After everything we've talked about, the real question you've got to ask yourself is this: do you know for sure if it's getting the expert care it needs to not just survive, but to win the battle against the next season?